Welcome to Rock Your Talk. I'm Leisa Reid with Productive Learning and Get Speaking Gigs Now. And this is part of our expert interview series. I have with me Mark Romero, a wonderful, wonderful guest today. I'm very excited. Welcome, Mark.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I mean, I got the invitation. I mean, what more could I ask for?
I know. I know. You're on the VIP list.
That's
So
right. Awesome.
tell our audience a little bit about you.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think we were just talking about this. I'm kind of like this recovered, uh, you know, CEO, executive manager guy from the high tech industry. And gosh, over 10 years ago, I left to kind of like step into finding my purpose and how I could serve on a higher level and do something that was more in alignment, that had more passion, meaning, and fulfillment for me. So I kind of left, interestingly enough, to become a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
And I wanted to, kind of like pontificate these words of wisdom that could transform people's lives and lift them to new heights. And I kind of always laugh because life has this habit of laughing at our greatest agendas. And around that time, I came out with an album, and that album ended up getting in the hands of a guy from NASA who discovered really healing frequencies within my music that actually impacted people's energy fields and how they function and operate in the world. So that was not part of my agenda or master plan. So out of that whole discovery, I kind of created a transformational technology using music, mindsets, and energy healing work that could really help people rise above the vibrational barriers in their lives. We're constantly being exposed to chemicals and disruptive waves from our technology that impacts how we function in life. And then also use that same technology to help us to let go of those limiting thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions which govern how we operate and how we show up and the levels of success that we create, not only in our careers, but in our relationships, in our health, and our vitality, and all these different aspects. So over this twist and turns of things happening, that's what I do today. I go out and I do a lot of coaching work. I do a lot of live online work for years now, and then in-person work, and all about helping people to harmonize their lives and unlock their potential and evolve to the next greater expression of who and what they are.
Yeah, and I have seen it in many forms through your work. I've met you in person, seen you speak, seen you perform, have one of your albums. We used to have CDs, like I actually have the physical CDs, and so we've known each other for a long time. And of course, you have an
Yeah.
amazing partner in Dr. Lara, and have experienced her work too. So you guys are like this power couple that a power in like so many ways of the word power, like just beautiful power couple in the sense of just your heart and what you put out to the world. So proud to know you both and have gotten to experience both of your magic that you put out into the world. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah,
Awesome.
happy to have you here. And then I know you were going to share some tips with us
Yes.
about, let's see, what was your tips for, this is really cool. It's tips on how to take your life to new heights. Like, how do you leverage the time now to take your life to new heights? Which I loved that perspective, because there are so many opportunities that we have now that, like, I believe when we have obstacles, it's also an opportunity to birth innovation.
Hmm.
And I think that's what you're talking about. It's like, okay, so now how do we leverage this time? So I can't wait to hear what you're going to share.
Well, it's interesting because I can think back in times in my own personal journey where times of challenge, times of obstacles, times of, dealing with where the very foundations that you've built your life upon get challenged. Then you kind of find yourself in the space, okay, how do I reinvent myself? What do I do with this? And I think right now we're in a time where not just in the United States, but around the world, humanity is getting this tremendous wake-up call.
Yes.
And yeah, I always go back to the analogy from that old, having kids and stuff. I've seen enough of the Finding Nemos and stuff like that. And it's kind of, I look at this time, it's kind of like that little girl Darla shaking the bag with the
Yeah.
fish in there. Wake
Fishy,
up,
fishy, fishy.
fishy. Wake up, wake up. Why won't you wake up? And that's literally what we've been emerged into. And so it's like, how can we use the challenges? Many of us have lost work. We've had redirections in our careers. We're being forced to reinvent ourselves. Some of the things, structures that we have built our lives upon are being challenged. How do we leverage this to actually take our life to the next level? Because something about life is it's always about expansion, it's always about
Yeah.
growth, it's always about evolution. And so sometimes as human beings, we have to be forced on that path. So I wanted to share just 3 tips that I think could really dramatically help us to leverage this time and really just come out on the other end of this more awakened, more enlivened, wiser, with a greater sense of true power, which ultimately we find within ourselves. It's
Mm,
not out there, it's in here.
right.
And this is a space where we're all kind of being directed to connect into. So, with that, when we're dealing with obstacles and with challenges and unknown and fears, there's a lot of emotions that show up in the experience. And we've kind of all been conditioned to not feel emotions that, quote, don't feel good.
Hmm.
And so, especially when we go into this time, we're at home, we're with ourselves, we're with our family, we're with our significant others, there's all kinds of opportunity for emotional stuff to come up. And so the first tip would really learn on how to process your emotional energy. And what that means is really about feeling your emotions. You know, we live in a world where we get so busy we don't even feel. Oh my gosh, I'm feeling some discomfort. I better get on my phone and slide this and go on social media. Oh my gosh, I better go have a bowl of ice cream or watch, 50 episodes on Netflix or something. No, this is a time where you want to be able to tap into that energy and to move that out. It's a suppression of emotions that causes so much upheaval in our lives. You know,
Hmm.
my mom always used to tell me, son, if you sweep enough crap underneath the carpet, eventually that carpet's going to burst.
Yeah.
So this is really an opportunity, number one, to allow yourself to feel your emotions and to move them out and to express them and just allow yourself to feel. If you feel like being angry, be angry. If you feel sad, feel sad. If you feel like crying, go cry. But process that emotional energy. Don't keep it in. Don't lock it in.
Yeah, and I think it's like, and we talk on this a lot in any of the workshops that we do at Productive Learning, and it's a journey. Like I think sometimes there's this wish list of like, I just don't want to feel this anymore. I never want to feel that again. I never want to be this way, and learning, just what you're saying, like learning how to even feel them at all, number one, instead of like just numbing out, which I mean I
Hmm.
did for many years of my life, how to feel it, and then how to kind of accept it and like be kind of that uncomfortable with that feeling for to let it be there for I don't know how long it needs to be, even if it's 90 seconds, which usually it passes through, right? Like, how can you sit with it for and just notice it? It's almost like removing yourself from it. Like, oh wow, I'm really angry right now. Ooh, I can feel that in my chest, right? I'm getting hot. I'm
Right.
like breathing fast, or what? Like noticing. Can you even catch that you're feeling it? Is like the first step, right? Like,
Well,
wow,
now that we're home so much now, many of us, we have a greatest opportunity to feel.
absolutely.
And the number one thing that can really help you with that is suspend judgment of what you're feeling. It's interesting. I use this analogy a lot with my clients. How many of you have seen one of these, right?
Yeah,
Battery. It's got a positive terminal, it's got a negative terminal. Your emotions, you have positive and negative emotions. The interesting thing about the battery is it won't shine the light unless you have the positive and the negative. The same principle applies to you and me energetically,
hmm.
you know, but it's our judgment of the negative. I mean, they don't even put the minus terminal in the battery. They put the positive on there because that's good.
I never
They don't
noticed
even put
that.
the minus on there. But when you're true to those emotions and what it is that you feel, man, you open up the door for you to just take your health, your vitality, your state of mind to a whole nother level. When you
Mm,
process that energy, the number one thing that can really help you is to suspend your judgment of your feelings and to just realize you have the ability to move emotional energy. Just, I'm
absolutely.
going to feel it. I'm going to breathe it through. I'm going to let it go and let it go. And
And
you,
even like, oh, sorry to interrupt you.
no, go ahead.
But like, I love what you're saying about using it as energy, because it is energy. It's just, if we judge it, like anger can be an amazing, powerful energy. If you think of like a dam or a waterfall, like all those the power of water and the power of wind, and that's energy. And your anger could actually be, when used in a healthy way, of course, um, a tool that can harness, that you can harness, and then create some magical stuff. If we were all just
It
like,
frees you.
yeah,
It
so cool.
frees you to soar to new heights.
Absolutely.
And
All
that's
right.
what we
That's so
really
cool.
want to leverage this time. So the second aspect would be to, when we look at challenges, because right now, maybe we've been impacted by what's happened in the stock market or the housing market or our job, our career, our income levels. And those are challenges, right?
Yep.
Now,
Yep.
typically, where do we go when we experience challenges? We use colorful metaphors to describe them. We get angry, we get upset at them. And I always invite, how can you utilize that challenge to take your life to the next level? I can guarantee you this. Within any challenge you're experiencing right now in your life is a tremendous opportunity for growth, evolution, and to take your life to the next level. I always look at challenges as being kind of like an indicator light on the dashboard of your car. It's telling you that there's something within yourself
Mhm.
that you need to let go of, and you need to embody a new mindset, a new way of being that's almost like higher level consciousness in some ways. It's almost like upgrading from Windows 98 to, the latest Windows or Mac OS or whatever. And some of us are still running old programs. Well, we all are to one degree or another. Those old programs outpicture as the challenges in your life. So I always say this, how can you use your challenges to grow and to evolve? And one of the things I love to do is sit with it. Have some quiet time with your challenge and inquire, what is this teaching me? How
Mhm.
can I utilize this to take my life to the next level? What's within here that's telling me that I need to let go of? And what can I incorporate in that's new, a new way of perhaps maybe looking at my security, my self-worth, some of these different aspects that might be related to the challenges that you're in. They'll talk to you. They'll share with you. They'll give you tremendous insight, but you can't find it when you're fighting them and cursing them and resisting them. There's a reason why Carl Jung said, what you resist persists in your life.
Exactly.
If you have challenges, embrace it and find out how it can help you to lift your life to the next level. Very
Yeah, and
important.
even one of the ways in which to, again, we kind of go back to like our primal instinct is just to like get rid of it, push it away, um, fight it, right? That's a common response that one would have. So if you're having a hard time even just embracing it and just going like, oh, like you're still so bundled up with it, I encourage you to dump it out, like write it out, talk it out, whatever you're in a safe place where you can just say, this is why I'm so irritated and mad and upset and it's not fair, and get all that, whatever junk you need to get out, so that you can then be open. Okay, now that I've said my piece, let all that, it's like cleansing, let that cleanse the mind. Then, so if you need to take that step before the embracing, go for it. You, it's free.
Yes, it
You can
is.
do that. You don't even need a piece of paper and a pen. You can actually just say it out loud. So
And
there's a power in
within
that too.
within every challenge, there's a golden opportunity.
Yeah, I love
You know,
that. I
and
love
when we
that.
look at them that way, it just changes the whole energy around them. As
Absolutely.
opposed to fighting it and cursing them and denying them or resisting them and all that aspect. I think another aspect that the third tip really, so really we've gone over two tips then. So process your emotional energy, feel your feelings in a productive way, of course, however that is, but just feel them and realize you have the ability to feel your emotional energy.
Love
Second
that.
thing is use your challenges to grow and to evolve and to unfold to the next level. They're like rungs in the ladder that are
Mm-hmm.
going to take you to new heights. The third aspect is get out every day and revitalize your energy. You know, I think myself having experience with a mentor who was a quantum physicist, and I got to learn about consciousness and quantum physics and energy and all these different aspects. We're energetic beings, and it's kind of like, the guitar. I
Mm-hmm.
can play beautiful music if those strings are in tune, But if they're not in tune, it doesn't matter how well I play. I'm never going to reach my full potential. So especially in this time where many of us are stuck in the house and many of us are, not getting out and doing the things that we would normally do, it's so important to get out every day to revitalize your energy. The weather's getting nicer. Take off your shoes. Go stand on the ground. Feel the sun, feel the air. Get out and really just, even if you have to do it within moments in the day, get out and make sure that every day you take action to cleanse your field of energy. And you will be amazed at what can open up for you. Less stress. You'll operate at a higher level. We're all locked inside. It's good to get out, breathe in some fresh air, feel the sun. And a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people don't take the time to do that regularly every day. Every day I get out and I do something. Every day I get out and I exercise. I feel the sun. I feel the air. Get on the bike, whatever it might be. And it's been a lifesaver.
Love
And
that.
I think it's so important, the power of just getting out and re-energizing yourself.
Yeah, there's like we did a workshop. It was a year long called Vitality, where we talked about the mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. And
Hmm.
like if you're depleted or atrophied in one of those areas, you need to figure out how to reactivate that part of you, your physical, your spiritual, your mental, your emotional quadrant, so that you can then continue to give back. So like, just like what you're saying, if you go outside, that could be physical, especially if you're doing some fitness activity. It could be emotional. If you're like, oh gosh, I really, some people really need to get that physical activity out in order to be emotionally healthy.
Yeah.
It could be spiritual, because you could, connect with nature. And it can be mental too, if you're just needing to take a break. Like maybe you've been doing a lot of like mental work on the computer and you're just so you need to kind of back away from the mental and access the other parts of your vital. I loved what you said, the revitalization, revitalize yourself. And when
Hmm.
you do it consciously and intentionally, that's even more powerful, because you could do it just sort of like, oh, that's sort of my habit. But if you go like, I'm going to go outside, I'm going to take care of my body. Ooh, I can feel the blood veins, pulsating because I moved, or noticing the blades of grass or the birds, or whatever it is that you're noticing outwardly, with intention, then that's such a healthy practice.
Absolutely. Yep. So these are like just three things that everybody can implement right away.
Yeah.
That's so helpful.
Free,
That could,
easy. Well, not
yep.
easy, maybe for some of us.
Well, sure.
It takes
It's
practice.
easy. It's easy to feel if you're willing to dive into the pool,
That's the
you
hard
know?
part.
Well, it's like I kind of look at those emotions and those feelings. We all go through life. We carry these backpacks on our back, and it's loaded with all kinds of stuff in there from our past experiences, from past dynamics with our parents, our relationships growing up, different things. And some of us got, a refrigerator, a weight set, and then we wonder why it's hard to trudge through life. But this
Exactly.
whole time that we're being put into, this is like a message from the universe saying, hey, you know what? You can't take that stuff with you where we're
That's
going.
right. That's
So feel your emotions. And every time you feel and you release something, you
right.
get out and cleanse your energy. It's like reaching in the
So
back,
lighter.
taking out that small motor vehicle, leaving it on the side of the path. And what you notice is that your ability to climb through this process we call life is dramatically enhanced.
Love that.
It literally is the process of enlightening yourself.
That's right.
And this is
I
a
love
great
that.
opportunity to be able to do that, to take it to the next level.
I'll share a tip with our listeners here that I haven't shared publicly. So I've been starting to, when I take a shower and I shampoo my hair, I'm taking that moment to be really intentional about taking care of myself, the self-care. Like, how when you go to the hairstylist and or the salon or the barber or whatever, and they really scrub and it feels so good to have someone scrub your scalp. So I've been like, oh, I'm just going to take a moment to smell the shampoo, to feel my scalp being massaged, and that I'm being cleansed. And like, it's just it's one of those daily like the tiny habits where you're already doing it and you just bring attention to
Yeah.
something else. It just feels so good. I just love it. So it's just a
I would say it feels
fun
good
thing.
because it brings you to the present moment.
Yes.
And the
Yes.
present moment is where you access your power. It's where you access your authenticity. That's where we need to be. We don't want to worry about what happened 6 years ago,
or
and we
think
don't want to
about.
worry about what possibly might happen moving forward,
That's right.
just bring your attention right here, right now, and see what can begin to open up for you.
Oh, I'm
So,
so glad you're shared with us today, because there's so many ways that we can bring intentionality to our life to access what you're talking about, this higher sense of power. And I know that people can get a hold of you. How?
well, always good to go to the website, which is Mark with a K, Romero, Romero, music.com. MarkRomeroMusic.com. You can go and check it out and see all the different things we're doing with energy and stuff to help people support people in harmonizing their lives. I'm on all the social media platforms under Mark Romero Music, so Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And then I know we had talked briefly about I have a little track of music and a little stress reducing meditation. You can get on the website. It's completely free. Just visit the
Wonderful.
website and you can sign up for it. And it's just a great little tool to help support you with everything that's going on. I call it like a little emergency kit, so to speak, just to help you as we navigate through these most interesting of times and really just every day focus on how can I leverage this to continue my growth, my evolution, and my unfolding and revealing the masterpiece that's truly within each and every one of us.
Love it. Yes. So Mark Romero, not Romeo, Romero with two R's. Um,
MarkRomeroMusic.com.
music.com, MarkRomeroMusic.com. Yes. And you'll love the music. You won't even know that it's just beautiful sounding music, and it's kind of cool because you're actually getting healed and shifting your energy at the same time as listening to this incredible music. So I know that's a big part of one of the gifts that Mark shares with everybody. So thank you for sharing your gift with all of the world. We love it.
My pleasure.
And until next time, we will see you soon. This is Leisa Reid from Rock Your Talk expert interview series from Productive Learning and Get Speaking Gigs Now. And in case you haven't yet today, do something good for yourself and for somebody else. We'll see you later.
Take care.